Welcome to the Blanco Wellness Podcast. Thank you for being here. Take a breath, settle in, and let's talk today about a question that most people with genuine ambitions have quietly wrestled with at some point, and that turns out to be more nuanced than the common advice suggests. You have probably heard the instruction before. Move in silence. Keep your plans to yourself. Do not tell anyone what you are building until it is already built. There is real wisdom in this, and it is worth taking seriously. A dream in its earliest stages is genuinely fragile, not because it is weak, but because it is not yet strong enough to survive sustained exposure to doubt. The imagination has conceived something that does not yet exist, which means it cannot defend itself with evidence. It can only be felt. And what can only be felt can be undone by a single, well-placed word from someone who cannot yet see what you can see. Not every person who receives your vision early will treat it with care. Some people, without malice, will project their own fears onto your future. Some will speak from the edges of what they themselves believe is possible and hand you those edges as though they were facts about you. And if you are not careful, if you are in the tender early stages where the dream is still more feeling than plan, you can find yourself borrowing their doubt before you have had a chance to build your own conviction. But the instruction to move in silence, taken too far, has its own costs. Some of the most significant things that have ever happened in most people's lives arrived not through solitary effort, but through conversation. Through the moment when someone described where they were trying to go and discovered, unexpectedly, that the person across from them held exactly the piece they had been missing. A connection, an introduction, a perspective that reframed everything, an opportunity that would never have appeared if the dream had stayed unspoken. The world is full of people who can help you get where you are going, but they can only help if they know where you are trying to go. The Taoists made an observation about environment that is directly relevant here. They understood that everything develops in relation to its conditions, that what grows and what withers is shaped not only by the seed, but by the soil, the light, and the quality of what surrounds it. A young plant placed in the right conditions flourishes without effort. The same plant placed in the wrong conditions struggles regardless of its potential. Dreams are not so different. Shared in the right environment, with people whose curiosity and genuine goodwill create conditions of warmth and expansion, they tend to grow more clearly, more quickly, more confidently than they would have in isolation. Shared in the wrong environment, they can be diminished before they have had the chance to find their shape. The question is not whether to share. The question is where and with whom. Here is something worth paying genuine attention to. Notice how you feel after spending time with different people. Not the content of what was said, but the quality of what remains afterward. Some people leave you feeling expanded, more certain of your direction, more connected to what is genuinely possible, more like yourself. Others leave you feeling smaller, more uncertain, more aware of the obstacles than the path. This is not a judgment of anyone's character. People speak from the edges of what they themselves believe is available, and those edges vary considerably from person to person. The person who tells you your dream is unrealistic is not necessarily wrong about their own life. They are simply not the right audience for yours. The Buddhist concept of wise companionship, surrounding yourself with people who embody and support what you are genuinely trying to build, is not about seeking validation. It is about creating the conditions in which genuine growth is more likely. A seedling does not need the storm to prove it is strong. It needs enough sunlight and enough stable ground to develop the root system that will allow it, eventually, to withstand the storm when it comes. The people who genuinely want to see you thrive are not making you weak by believing in you. They are helping you build something real. There is also something that happens when we speak about what we want that is worth understanding clearly. When a dream remains entirely internal, It can remain vague, felt but not yet formed, present but not yet legible even to yourself. The act of putting it into words, of finding language for what you can see that others cannot yet see, creates a kind of clarity that thinking alone does not produce. You begin to understand what you actually mean. You notice which parts of the vision are solid and which are still uncertain. You identify, sometimes for the first time, exactly what the next step actually is. Speaking the dream does not make it more real through some mysterious mechanism. It makes it more real because articulation is itself a form of commitment. The moment at which an idea becomes something you are genuinely claiming rather than quietly entertaining. The wisdom, then, is not silence or openness. It is discernment. Protect the dream in its earliest, most vulnerable stages. Do not expose it to people who consistently leave you feeling smaller. Do not seek permission from people whose approval is based on a limited version of what they believe is possible for themselves and who have unconsciously applied that limit to you. But do not imprison the dream either. Share it with the people who genuinely expand your sense of what is available, with mentors who have traveled further along roads similar to yours, with friends whose belief in you is not conditional on you staying the same size you have always been, with anyone who asks the question that the right people always ask. Not, why do you think that will work? But, tell me more. As we close today, I want to leave you with a question worth sitting with honestly. Who are the people in your life with whom your dreams feel safe? Not safe from challenge. Genuine challenge from people who want you to succeed is entirely different from doubt from people who need you to stay small. Safe to be spoken, safe to be imperfect, safe to be not yet fully formed. Those people are worth knowing clearly and worth choosing carefully. Because some dreams do grow best in silence, and some grow best in the right conversation. The wisdom is knowing which is which. Thank you for being here with me today. Until next time, be well.